What is the greatest of God's blessings on the earth?
The greatest blessings from God? This life. This life itself is the greatest blessing from God. But unfortunately, very often we fail to see this fact. In our world of busy schedules, of money making, we often forget even to live our lives. Quite a funny thing. Many of us are so engaged in our own activities and so glued to our own work that we forget to live the life that is given to us. We fail miserably to live our life as Mother Nature wanted and designed us to live. True, there are even people who want to end it also. There are people who think of putting an end, putting a full stop to this life. So it's tremendously significant to realize the greatness of the life that we all have. Though this life has certain punctuations, it is still worth living. Of course, there is a dearth of noble nature, as John Keats says. What he means by that is there are people who work against us, the so-called enemies, who try to pollute our life, who try to contaminate our happiness. That's true. And there are again innumerable challenges that surround us on a daily basis. Notwithstanding all these negative experiences, life is worth living. There is no doubt about that. And this life is so real too. It is not illusory. It is worth living. It is real. It is colorful. It is awesome. So the greatest blessing we have on earth is life itself. This is my understanding. Hope you will agree with me. But there are other creatures, other animals also, uncountable. They too are living, they too are having the same life that we have. But perhaps they live a better life. Perhaps they live a quality life, far better than we humans. Now the second question. If life is the greatest blessing on earth, what is the second greatest blessing that we all have inside this life, within this life? The answer is intelligence. Intelligence is an all-pervading quality of life. It's an intrinsic aspect of life. Everyone is touched by it. Everyone is in it. The world lies in the lap of intelligence, universal intelligence. That's true. Okay, so the second greatest gift, perhaps let us describe it as intelligence, the quality of intelligence. Of course, there are people who encounter some glitches in this domain. Retarded is a cruel term, so we call them differently abled. But what about those people who are equipped with this blessing in abundance, but they fail to exercise it generously? Let us not generalize and consider it as a simple concept. For this domain of intelligence is very vast and multidimensional. There is practical intelligence, analytical intelligence, logical intelligence, emotional intelligence, critical intelligence, creative intelligence, and so on and so forth. Now the third question comes. If life is the greatest blessing, what is the most significant blessing in the domain of intelligence? We have seen there are different domains for intelligence. Among these different domains, which is the most important one? And that domain is called discretionary intelligence. Discretion is the power to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. It means the ability to make responsible decisions. Discretion can be called as a captain of a ship. Okay, discretionary intelligence is the foremost of all intellectual powers. Because it is this power that leads or should lead all other powers. Like the horse in a cart or like the engine of a train, discretion makes us move along the right path or track. If anything wrong ever happened in your life or in my life or in anyone else's life around us, we can easily trace the source of the trouble to the discretionary power within us or in those individuals. Of course, no one is so perfect in his or her discretion. We tend to misuse it or not use it at times. Perhaps other domains dominate us, perhaps other intellectual domains dominate us and overthrow this great king or this supposedly great emperor from his throne. The discretion is sometimes dethroned. For instance, when we are too much critical or analytical, we fail to see the truth. We miss the truth altogether. Truth is more like water than like fish, which we try to catch with the net of our critical thinking. Hope you got the comparison. We very often spread the net to catch the fish, thinking that truth is like fish. We try to catch with the net of critical thinking. But the fact is this, that truth is more like water than like fish. So it simply escapes from our critical thinking. We fail to catch the truth with our critical thinking, in other words. Most probably, we will just miss the truth or miss the water when we try to analyze things too much. Especially in our state here, we are too critical in our thinking. This is what I have noticed. We aren't able to appreciate a thing uncritically, unable to believe in a thing uncritically. We don't want to be, we are very highly literate and we don't want to be considered as gullible. So we always keep a weapon of critical thinking in front of us as a defense. We don't want to be vulnerable to things. But truth is something that can be embraced if only the weapons are removed. So we judge and we analyze anything that comes before us, in front of us, or in the screen that appears. But the funniest fact is this, that everything cannot be analyzed and cannot be found out. Here you disagree, I know. I shall explain. Let me cite an example. Love. Let's take the case of love. Love cannot be analyzed. Love is just an emotion. Something that is in motion is emotion. By its very nature, all emotions, like clouds, keep changing. They don't remain constant. Emotion has that root meaning, something that is in motion and something that changes. Look at our emotions. Does it stay constant? It keeps changing every minute. Love is just one of the emotions only. But we all need it. The entire humanity is after it. We talk about it, we discuss, we analyze, and then we miss. Okay, so there are many people who are so busy engaged in analyzing love and they miserably miss it. It's a fact of life. Another example, if we are too critical about the beauty that surrounds us, the beauty of the natural scenery or the setting or the events around us, we shall surely miss its intrinsic value. The thing left in our heart will be only the poison of bitterness or the anger or something hazardously toxic. Again, if we are too dryly logical, we may miss the whole beauty of human existence and for sure God Himself, because you can't prove God. God is something that you cannot prove logically, critically. So how to see things, how not to see things, how to use skills, how not to use the skills, what to speak, what not to speak, how to conduct this life, how not to lead this life. All these come under the purview of discretion, which is the greatest of all blessings in this life. So once again, let us summarize. The greatest blessing is life, and within this life, the greatest blessing is intelligence, and within the different domains of intelligence, the greatest blessing is discretion. Embrace it, hold it, do not allow it to leave us in any moments in our life. Even when we see things, even when we hear things, we need that greatest blessing from God.